Okay, a very good afternoon to all of you. So there's been a slight change in the program. The initial talk was on the use of Contura guided software, which is a topo guided regularization for irregular corneas. But I'm going to go ahead with the talk on topo guided regularization for normal corneas, which come for laser vision correction. And then we'll move on to a practical demonstration on one of the cases using a TMR or a topographic modified refraction. So I'll just begin with a short summary. So what essentially is Contura Vision? This is a topo-guided regularization that is offered to us on the EX500 machine. So now, when we do a traditional or a conventional LASIK, we use a wavefront optimized approach in which essentially we give the treatment for the preoperative lower order aberrations, and we also treat the higher order aberrations which are a result of the treatment, which means the ones that arise from creation of the flap and the subsequent excimer ablation. However, it does not take into consideration the preoperative higher order aberrations. The Contura software gives you a wavefront optimized correction, but additionally it also minimizes the preoperative higher order aberrations. So it corrects the sphere, the cylinder, and the higher order aberrations, and it is a best of all worlds. So what would be the advantage of a topo-guided laser ablation as compared to the conventional wavefront? How does one get a wavefront? Essentially, we project light onto the retina, and whatever comes back is then measured to give you a wavefront. So this is more of a dynamic approach as compared to a static measurement. So the topo-guided, on the other hand, since it does not measure the internal aberrations and it is not pupil dependent or dependent on the accommodation, it gives you more static readings. Additionally, as you're taking a topography of the cornea, you get more peripheral data because, again, it is not dependent on the pupil size. So the initial FDA indications for use for the Contura software was a spherical equivalent of up to 9 diopters with an astigmatism of not greater than 3 diopters at the spectacle plane. The remaining indications were similar as for all laser vision corrections. So how does the planning proceed? The patient's image is taken with a Placido ring-based system. It could either be the Topolizer Vario or the Allegro Topolizer. So this is a Placido ring which uses 22 rings, and it measures as many as 22,000 elevation points. This data is automatically exported into the planning software of the EX500, which then automatically exports the data into the treatment software. So we take up to about 8 scans, but a minimum of 4 examinations are required, and one should make sure that the quality of the scans, you get tick marks or you get crosses, so the quality of the scan should be okay. Using this, the system calculates the medium of all the scans that are taken. It will be better if you could have an increased number of about 6 to 8. And it removes the ideal topo from that, which gives you the final ablation for the higher order aberrations, as you can see here. So based on this, along with that, it adds the manifest sphere and the astigmatism, which is the wavefront optimized component, and it gives you the final treatment data. So these are the prerequisites. I think when I move on to the live demonstration, we'll deal with these because you'll get a better understanding. So now this is just an example of a patient. You can see that this is a regular myopic patient, and when you use a wavefront approach, this is the treatment pattern that we get. So now when you look here, when we've gone to the modified, when we don't treat a sphere and a cylinder, the pattern that you get is this. So this essentially is just the higher order aberrations. Right now we're not doing any of the lower order aberrations. And what you see in the center here would be a coma, and what you see in the periphery would be a trefoil. So the Contura would combine both. It would give you an combination of the wavefront optimized and the topo-guided irregularities, and this is the final map that you'd get. Now you'll notice that the difference in the ablation between the two is not very high, so I'll just move back. So while only doing a myopic correction, the central ablation here is around 36 microns. And when we move on and just correct the higher order aberrations, So this is the coma in the center. This would require an additional central ablation of about 6 microns, and you could see the trefoil periphery. So when you combine both, you get a final ablation pattern as this. So I think we'll just move on to a couple of examples as to how we proceed with this. And there is a new concept known as TMR, or topographic modified refraction, which was described by Kanellopoulos about 2 years ago. There's a handful of reports which say that the refractive outcomes are better as compared to the regular Contura approach. So we'll just have one hands-on demonstration as to how we do a TMR as well. Just the treatment, please. So it begins with the patient entries. We'll take the first patient. So we go on to the treatment planning. So here you have the planning with the EX500. The upper one would be the wavefront optimized only, but we're going to go on with the topo guided because we want to plan for the Contura. So we'll start with the right eye. So these were all the scans that we got on the Topolyzer. And as of now, we're taking a total of 5 scans. This question mark here just shows that the value, it's not working. Okay, so the question mark here just says that the image of the scan might be slightly lower. This could be attributed to various factors. It's also important that the cornea is well lubricated before this is taken, because any tear film abnormalities could also cause a lower scan. But you can see that the K readings on all of them are closely correlating, and so is the Q value. So for the purpose of this planning, we'll take all the scans into consideration. So now we move on with, there's a button at the bottom which says next. It's been cut by the screen. So when we go next, the first step is to put in the patient's diffraction. So this patient had a sphere of 1.5 with a cylinder of 2 at an axis of 180. We also put in the K values. The pupil diameter has to be put. The medication has an option of none or kinds. So you can choose if the patient is on any medication. Now, as against the wavefront optimized, it's important that the corneal thickness in even the superior, the inferior, the nasal, and the temporal aspects are fed in. This is done on the tomography, and it's taken at the 6 millimeter zone. So we fed in all the data, and now we'll move on to the next step. So I'm going to discuss, let's just start by discussing the normal Contura and then move on to TMR. So what we do first is that we make the modified refraction as 0. So when we do 0, essentially, we're not doing any lower order, we're not treating any sphere, we're not treating any cylinder. All we're doing is treating the higher order aberrations. So you can see the map that comes at the bottom. You can see there is a small amount of coma and a significant amount of trefoil. So this next step to do would be to compensate for the C4 and the C12. This is important because when we're regularizing the higher order aberrations, it can produce a slight myopic shift, and we need to compensate that by doing a C4, C12 compensation. So when you look at the Zernicke's here, on C4, the value is 0, and C12 is around 0.12. So roughly, I mean, it's not a particular, it's not been published as such, but roughly by experience, if you divide the C12 by around 1.5, you would get the value of C4, which would compensate. It's essentially a trial and error method, but it would approximately be about half of what the C12 value was. So I think it was 0.12, the C12, right? So let's try 0.08 perhaps, minus 0. You'll have to put minus. Okay, so now we go back to the Zernicke and just see. So now when you look, the C4 and the C12 have compensated. So this is the first step. Now we'll just go back to the modified refraction. So in the traditional Contura, we would just treat the clinical refraction along with the nomogram from the machine and the C4, C12. We're not, it's exactly the same. We've now made them equal. Initially the C4 was 0 and the C12 was 0.12. So now the C4 and the C12 have been compensated. So now I'll move on to the second approach. There's something known as TMR, which has been described now, in which the cylinder, both in terms of the magnitude and the axis, is now taken from the Topolyzer as against the refraction. So in order to do a TMR here, now you can see that there is a difference. Can you give me a pointer that works, please? Okay, so you can see that the clinical cylinder is -2, but the measured is almost 0.5 more. So the first step, again, as was in the regular Contura, is to first put the modified to 0, and to confirm that there should be a significant amount of coma which is attributing to this change in cylinder. So now there are two major higher order aberrations that we're interested in. The first is a coma and the second is a trefoil. Coma is central, and what that does is it changes either the magnitude or the astigmatism of the cylinder. So if you feel that there is a certain difference, there should be a coma attributing to that. Trefoil is more peripheral and is more attributable to the glare and the halos that come post-operatively. So now we already established that the patient does have a coma, which may be accounting for this change in the cylinder. So now in TMR, what we do is we take the magnitude of the cylinder on the topolizer and the axis as well. The axis is exactly the same, 0 and 180 would be the same, but now we'll take the magnitude of the cylinder from the topolizer. So in the modified value, we will now put -2.52. For the purpose of mathematical ease, we'll just make it -2.5. So you'll have to change the modified now to -2.5. On the cylinder, please. On the cylinder, please. So now we've taken the topolizer cylinder. The next step is to make sure that the spherical equivalent is the same. So because we've increased the cylinder by 0.5, we will now reduce the sphere by half of the amount that we've increased the cylinder. So the overall MRSE that we're treating remains exactly the same. Now, you can notice that when we talk about the sphere, there's a huge discrepancy between the clinical and the measured. That's actually not so. It's just that the Contura or the topolizer cannot measure the axial length, so it cannot give you the sphere. The sphere has to be taken only on refraction. So we'll stick to the sphere of 1.5, but because we have to compensate for the extra cylinder that we're treating, we will now reduce the spherical equivalent. So half of 0.5 would be 1.25. Would be 0.25, which we will now reduce from the sphere, and the final value that you get would be 1.25. So now you can see the MRSE of the clinical and the MRSE of the modified is the same. The next step would be to just add the slight amount of sphere which was required for C4, C12 compensation, and you would get the final refraction that you need to treat on the Contura. You additionally need to add the nomogram of the machine, which is specific for all machines for the myopic or the cylindrical correction. So is that clear, or do we do it for the other eye for more clarity? Are we any questions? This actually, it was initially, the talk was supposed to be on irregular corneas, but sir had just requested me to give you a practical demonstration of Contura for regular eyes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gitansha. Can we have the next speaker? Yeah.
We can do that.
Any question?
Do you have anything else to?
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. There was just one extra slide that we wanted to show.
Yes.
Can we have the last two slides? Okay.
I'll just hold it. It's fine. These last two slides. So this was just an interesting case that I saw. I mean, I've just seen this once in about 200 or 300 eyes. You can see that there is a gross difference between the cylinder that is taken on the clinical refraction and the one that we're getting on the topolizer. So we again did the same thing. In the modified, we've put 0, which means that we're not treating the sphere or the cylinder and just seeing the higher order aberrations. So like I alluded to earlier, if there is a significant difference in this cylinder, you should have some amount of coma which attributes for it. But in this eye, you can see that it's more of a trefoil in the higher order aberrations, and the amount of coma perhaps is not significant enough to be causing such a change in the cylinder between the manifest and the topolizer. So in such cases, it would be advisable not to go on with the wavefront optimized approach, with the Contura approach, and probably just stick to the wavefront optimized and not essentially treat the additional higher order aberrations. So this was just an important case that I wanted to highlight because this is very rare and I've just seen this once.
Do we have any comments or any questions? Okay.
Rajesh.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gitansha.